Here on the Stone Dog Show. Welcome back, by the way, to the fucking Stone Dog Show. My name's Gabe Stroop. I'm the fucking Stone Dog. This is my show. It's not, Dan, I just want to let you know, this is not Rock Paper Podcast.
Okay? Fuck, I don't know which one I was on. I'm off.
Right. This is because there's way too much fucking Jesus-y bullshit going on Rock Paper Podcast for me. This is the fucking Stone Dog Show. So welcome, sir.
Not fair. It's not fair because Shane's been trying to get me to do his for like 5 years.
And now he acknowledged it. Oh, that's awesome.
Didn't expect that, did you, Shane?
I think it's actually been 6. So
no, he was like, when I told him, I was like, "Hey, Dan's gonna be on the show. Like, can you do it? You know, can you record this day?" He's like, "What the fuck? I've been asking Dan for like 5 years."
Well, the difference is Wiley's kind of relentless. He's like, "Well, can we do it Thursday then?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
well, fuck, I guess, yeah."
Well, that's what I told him. Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is not. I don't have like a fucking bat phone that rings Dan Marsala, man. Like,
so Shane, hit up Wiley, have him redirect to me, and he'll convince me to do it on a day.
Yep.
Listen, ever since I recorded songs with Dan, like I get everybody that I don't know is like, "Hey man, can you tell Dan to call me?" I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, I don't know what the fuck's happening right now. That Dan recorded my music. I'm friends with him. Whatever. Leave me the fuck alone. Somebody literally asked me 2 days ago, "Hey, we're opening this theater in Carterville, Illinois. We want Story of the Year play. Can you give me Dan's number?" So I went to your Facebook page, your Story of the Year Facebook page, and I copied the booking contact and I pasted it, and that's all I fucking said back.
Sure, that's not accurate.
There you go.
It's not a bad move, dude.
Yeah. None of us have looked at Facebook in like 6 years, so I assume that's wrong.
Yeah, dude, if you check your Facebook, I've sent you like probably 3 or 4 messages since like 2012 or something.
It's the PSA to all the people in the world who send me messages on Facebook. I'm sorry.
No, it's nice of you to make time to be on the show, dude. I appreciate you doing it.
Very happy to be here, and I will gladly do everybody's thing all the time. I love this kind of shit. It's just,
oh wow,
it's hard to schedule things sometimes. So whatever. It worked out tonight. Here we are.
No, thank you, dude. I wanted to talk about actually how I originally heard about your band, right? Which is Story of the Year.
Yep.
Originally Big Blue Monkey, right? That was the name.
Yep.
Were you in that band?
I was.
And you played drums, right?
In Big Blue Monkey originally, yes. Okay. This is a good segue for what I need to talk about anyway. Story of the Year just started a podcast as well. It's called the Paige Avenue Podcast.
Nice.
The first episode is actually live right now, but we're not announcing it till tomorrow. I don't know when this comes out. This might not come out for a couple days, or is it like right away?
It'll probably be a couple weeks.
Okay. So it'll already be out. So Paige Avenue Podcast, go listen to that. The first episode is all about our history as a band, and we explain it all from like the mid-'90s of me and Ryan meeting. We had a band called 67 North. There was our first band, which was basically a Rage Against the Machine cover band because we would just play Rage songs and shit. And I was a guitar player, and so was Ryan. And then his little brother was the bass player, and we had some other friends who were drums and bass. Then we quit that band, and me and him started Big Blue Monkey together, me and Ryan from Story of the Year. But we didn't have a drummer. At first, I was going to play bass because I was always a guitar player and a singer, but we just couldn't find anybody else. So I could kind of play drums, and it was like, well, fuck, we don't have a drummer. All right, fuck it. I'll be the drummer. You be the guitar player. We'll get our friend John to sing and our friend Perry to play bass. So that was Big Blue Monkey in 98, I guess, is when we started that. We did that for a couple years. Eventually, we kicked our singer out. I became the singer, and we got Josh Wills to be the drummer. Then we got Adam to play bass. So as a 4-piece, Big Blue Monkey was the same 4-piece that Story of the Year is right now. For like 2 years, we were a 4-piece with the current lineup of Story of the Year. And then later we got another guitar player named Greg for a year, got signed with him in the band, blah, 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 Story of the Year. We changed our name to Story of the Year. Did a bunch of stuff, kicked him out, got Phil Sneed in the band right after that, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that was the brief, quick history of Story of the Year's origins there.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I heard Big Blue Monkey, I think it was the Point Essential CD that you guys were on. And I think Razor Blades was the song that was on it.
Yeah, that would have been when I started singing, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I remember, like I said, because I grew up very sheltered listening to Christian music, this was really when I was listening to just everything. I was finally on my own, you know what I mean?
You were a real heathen by this time.
Yes. And I went and saw you guys at Point Fest then with my friend Pat Gibson, and someone fell in my fucking head immediately. And I think you opened with In the Hero Will Drown, and it was just like, holy shit, this is insane. It was just a lot different than anything I'd ever seen. And also, like, you as a singer, you're really like somebody that helped me get out of my rah-rah-rah-ness, you know what I mean? Like, I don't sing like you. Like, I don't play that style of music, but I like a lot of different kinds of music, you know what I mean? So, like, hearing you and seeing, you know, how you did things, you not only influence, like, vocally, but also the way you guys perform. Like, I'm not as energetic, obviously, as you guys are, but I would play in bands with guys that, like Wiley, you know what I mean, that would be fucking doing the backflips and trying to swing the guitars around their necks and doing all that crazy ass stuff that's fucking badass, you know what I mean? So it's really cool to actually be able to talk to you about it. One thing I wanted to ask you too is a story I heard way back in the day is that you guys actually snuck on a tour bus. Was it John Feldman? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
And that's how you got signed? That's what I heard back in the day. Is that actually true?
Very true. I think this is in the first episode of what we of our new podcast as well. It was our other guitar, our middle world guitar player, Greg Hopt, great dude from St. Louis. He was in the band briefly, but he had joined the band right before that, and we won a contest to play Point Fest as Big Blue Monkey. And we fucking opened the front stage at like 10 a.m. You know, this is 2002, I believe, maybe 2001. It was one of those years. But yeah, we played at like 10 a.m. Goldfinger was one of the later bands in the day, and like, you know, The Used had just come out, and John Feldman had produced that album, and it was like doing really well. And we're like, fuck yeah, fucking Gold. I was a huge Goldfinger fan either way. So yeah, Greg, our guitar player, we had a VHS like DVD. It wasn't DVD. It was a VHS like highlight reel of. It was called Ape Shit 2001 is what it was called, because we were called.
So good. It's so good.
It's what the story of the year, like Live in the Loop, Assassins DVD became later. A lot of the footage is on that, but we were always like jackass shit. We were doing all the dumb shit, and we were like, our music's all right, but we're really fucking weird and funny, and this is gonna get us there. So we had this thing, and Greg snuck into their bus on Goldfinger's bus, and I think he put it in the VHS, you know, like the player. What the fuck did you call those things?
The VCR.
VCR. Okay, kids, listen. Back
Put it in the
in the early days, there was these big ass tapes with fucking things in them. So I think he actually put it in the VCR and like snuck out, and I think he left a couple around. Just randomly, they were like going to the next city, and they were bored enough to watch this fucking VHS tape of us, and they're like, these guys are fucking hilarious. And John Feldman's manager called us like a couple weeks later, and we had moved to California within these 2 weeks. We like rented a house in California as a band, all moved there. We lived there for, you know, a while, but yeah, they called us and they're like, hey, you want to go on tour for 2 weeks? Cause we think you guys are funny. And I was like, fuck yeah, we'll go on fucking tour with Goldfinger. And then, you know, he ended up getting us signed to Maverick, and he produced our first record and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, very true story. All
That's
because
fucking crazy, man.
Our old guitar player Greg snuck into the fucking bus and got us signed. And then
So,
we kicked him out.
So think about that. I mean, like, that's crazy. That's just one of those moments. Like, do you ever think about that? Like, hey, what if that never happened? Kind of deal. Like, I'm sure maybe you guys would have made it just fine. But
We would have had, yeah. There was other things. We did a showcase for Drive Thru Records. At that point, Drive Thru was doing pretty well. You know, it was like Newfound Glory and Finch. I don't know if anybody remembers Finch. I know Wiley does.
Yeah, dude.
Like the Starting Line, all those bands were all on Drive Thru. And we did a showcase, and he was like, yeah, you guys are pretty good. You're just not ready yet. So they turned us down, and then luckily that worked out for us, because then Maverick signed us like 3 weeks later. But
Think fucking labels of Deftones. Oh, fuck you.
yeah. So there was a bunch of buzz going, and we were getting all this shit happening. It was working either way, but that just was the one that worked, and it was fucking. That's just how it worked. It's awesome.
I have a
And then the replacement guitarist is now the Goldfinger guitarist.
Yep. Well, then, yeah, Phil Sneed joined later while we were recording the record, and then, yeah, now he's in Goldfinger, weirdly enough. But that's because Feldman is just always stealing band members from every band he tours with to be in Goldfinger. So
it's cool, man.
That's just how their band works.
It's a fucking cool story. Like, I had a guy that produced a band I was in years ago, and he shopped us to Warner Brothers, and he told me that they said if it was 10 years ago, this guy would be a millionaire, talking about me, but they were like, but rock and roll's dead. That's what they said. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, fuck my life.
if my band would have got signed and had the same success that we had 10 years before we had it, I would be a millionaire. But instead, I just live in North County and I have like a normal size house. So
it's fine.
Fine though.
It's a good existence.
Hey, there's a gold record in that shitter right next to you.
Does he have it?
It's in the bathroom. When you're peeing, it's directly to your left.
That's awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Fucking be proud of that. That's awesome.
I keep that in the bathroom just for my friends.
So if you're sitting down crapping, you just look to your right.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot.
So back then, because I had some other stuff to ask you about how you guys started, but if you got a podcast about that, what's it called? The Paige Avenue Podcast? Is that
Paige Avenue Crew Podcast.
Paige Avenue Crew. I'll save some of that because I got plenty of other stuff to talk to you about.
People need to know these things. It's all good.
Well, okay. So one question I wanted to ask you. This is probably, you guys don't talk about this, but when I listen to a song, I am kind of literal sometimes, and I try to put myself in it. So like when you're writing Anthem of Our Dying Day, okay, were you on a rooftop literally? Like what was happening in this song?
I was gonna say, were you on Ludes?
Like, yeah, because I'm always like, because did you write it when you were recording out there? Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
That part is kind of literal. Like I said, we moved to California as a band, and we were in this 3-bedroom house, but we had 8 people living there, between us and like our few friends that moved with us. And so we would go sit on the roof, like me and Ryan and whoever, we'd sit with acoustic guitars and like just jam on the roof. So that was kind of a literal, like just like a little tidbit of, I don't know. It was, Ryan actually wrote like a lot of those lyrics. It was kind of a collab between the both of us, and he had written like all this like weird shit in a journal, and I just stole it and I like started fitting it all to the melody that I already had for it. But I think he actually kind of wrote that line because he would go up on the roof every single night and just play guitar, and that's how a lot of those songs got written on that first record. But so a lot of that record was like our experiences of being a local band in St. Louis, moving to California, trying to start over, and then like making sense of what the fuck we were doing. And yeah, that song is kind of all in that world in a metaphorical way.
Sure. Oh, now let me ask you this, because it's something I thought of when you were talking about it. I didn't know that you guys recorded with Elvis Basquet.
Yeah.
That's one of my like favorite producers, dude, because like I said, some of his work with Alter Bridge, what he does with their guitars and everything, I'm just like, holy shit.
It's awesome,
and
yeah.
So was that like the Black Swan, that album? Like which albums were that?
Black Swan and The Constant we did at his like beach house in Virginia. It's amazing. Alter Bridge was there a bunch too, like in between us recording. It's like an hour and a half outside of Richmond, so it's in the middle of nowhere. So you like fly into Richmond, you rent a car, and you drive an hour and a half to the beach, and there's nothing. There's like no fast food within a half hour of you, and so you just live in this beach house for like 6 or 8 weeks is what we would do. And it's like the most amazing, just artistic experience ever. And I don't know if it reflects in the music or not, but it's like one of the best moments in all of our lives, was just living there for 6 weeks and then creating what would become the Black Swan. Then we had to do it again just to do it again, and then The Constant came out of that as well. But yeah, fucking he's amazing. He doesn't have that studio anymore. I think he's in Florida now, but yeah, he's been still doing a lot of Alter Bridge stuff and everything that comes along with the Miles Kennedy stuff. Yeah. Yep. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that guy's fucking badass, and that's really cool because it gives me just a different. It explains why some of those guitar sounds are so badass, to be honest with you.
And he's amazing with guitars. he is a beast with the guitars.
Some other things I wanted to ask you. So, talked about some of your earlier lyrics. Your approach to writing back then, like, has it changed throughout the years?
It's an always evolving process,
So like writing now, I know that Ryan sent you a bunch of music. Is he still collabing with you, or are you more often than not now just kind of writing what comes out?
Now it's the last couple records. It's just he'll write music and then I'll write vocals, and that's it. and we don't involve everybody else a lot anymore, because we used to be a band who hung out 24/7, who you sit in a room and you jam together until the song's done, 40 hours a week, and you make sure you're a fucking band. Now we all have multiple children and we're grown-ass men, so it's more of just sharing files and ideas, and then we send shit back and forth. Like Wolves, our last record, was 100% the same thing. He would send me probably about 30 demos. I would record shit, send it back. The rest of the band barely heard any of it before we recorded it. So it's just kind of one of those things, and it worked. So we're kind of sticking with that formula right now. But
the fucking, the video for Miracle and just your whole, like the artwork for Wolves, the fucking video that you guys did. And I think it was the one for Miracle, where there was a video that you did at one point where you just basically said, it looked to me like you just set up an LED wall and just put like some fire on it, and it was fucking awesome.
I think that was Bang Bang, the first single off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we did the Arch City, I believe it's called, and they have all that crazy shit. So we just set up a fun little setup, and we did a bunch of. We were thinking like more like lyric video shit, but then it looks so cool. We were like, fuck yeah, let's just do the video here. And then the Miracle video, Jordan Phoenix did that, and he's fucking awesome, and that turned out really cool. We wanted to make it like a weird 80s horror movie, and which was kind of the theme of the whole album, But we wanted, I don't know. We wanted to have like a cool visual theme with that whole record, but it was, it was the same time like Stranger Things was really cool, and we were kind of doing that 80s throwback thing, which is kind of cheesy now that it got overdone, over the last few years, but.
Kind of, but there's like
it was fun.
It's still dope. It's so dope.
Yeah, there's a lot of underground retro kind of movement going on right now.
Yeah.
There's like, do you know retro wave music, like bands like the Midnight? You ever heard the band the Midnight?
I don't think so. No.
It's just like, I'm into all that, and I was gonna ask you if that album Wolves had a lot of fucking 80s, kind of retro influence, because it definitely seemed like it, obviously.
Yeah. Well. My favorite singer of all time is Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. Like Motley Crue and Skid Row and Poison and that kind of shit was like really what got me into music. Although we were talking earlier about like Nirvana and like the 90s grunge scene was when I started playing guitar and like learned how to play music. But I was super into music really young. So I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, shout at the devil. I was like the opposite of what you were doing,
Oh yeah, dude.
Like I was all into Motley Crue. Like when I was a kid, I had posters on my wall and I was like, they have so many tattoos. I gotta fucking be that guy. And then I manifested that one and made it come true. But
that's badass.
So yeah, that late 80s metal scene was like always weighed heavy on how I love music. And so, I'm, like I said, I'm a grown ass man. So yeah, all those 80s movies were very influential on all of us as well. So yeah, we just thought it'd be fun to kind of do that vibe.
It was cool. It's got to be, and I was going to ask you as well, like when you sing for the Fuck Off and Dies as well. So where did that band come from?
That was, it started around the time we were recording The Constant. Greek Fire started at the same time. We were all kind of like, we got to try some different shit. All of us Ryan and Phil started that band, and I started the Fuck Off and Dies at the same time. But it was kind of just an accident. It was like, well, I love like 90s punk rock, like just like pop punk kind of, like I said, Epitaph Records kind of shit, like Rancid and NoFX and Bad Religion. So that's always been my favorite shit. So I wanted to start something completely different than Story of the Year. Something that was stupid, that I didn't have to fucking worry about, that I could just fucking play dumb shows. I wanted to play small shows again, really is what I wanted to do. Because Story of the Year was so big that we had only played the pageant in St. Louis for like 8 years straight. It was like I hadn't played any other venue. So it was like, so we started that band as just a way to get back, reconnected with the local scene, more, and it worked. It's a fucking dumbest idea ever, but very fun. We drink a lot and we don't worry about being good, and it works. Somehow.
It's fun, man. That's
cool.
We've ruined Wiley's life multiple times.
I think I got to see one of those very early on shows. Kind of got wind through some friends, and but I see you guys saw Fuck Off and Dies and Greek Fire at Foo Bar.
Yeah.
And again, like you're saying, just being in a small club like that and getting rowdy was a really good time.
Yeah, none of us had been able to do that in St. Louis. You know, like we did it other places around the world, but we hadn't played Foo Bar ever. You know, it was like I'd been there.
Oh, dude, listen. Whenever you came out, or you guys came out with Paige Avenue, seriously, number one, I started to try to scream, which was a bad idea because I can't fucking scream. And then my friends were like, they wanted to start a band, and it was like because my first band was called Reconcile, and it was like seriously like a Creed imitation band. And these guys were like, hey, you can play with us if you prove that you're not going to sound like Creed anymore. And they made me record like to their songs on like a 4-track in my bedroom just to make sure that I wasn't going to sound like fucking Scott Stapp anymore. So yeah, dude, you guys influenced this, especially this fucking city in a big way.
Yeah, I think we kind of ruined the scene for a couple years because I think like 2005, 6, I think everybody just wanted to be Story of the Year.
Yeah, everybody
probably annoyed half the fucking city, and they were probably like, fucking, I'm so sick of Story of the Year because that we were besides The Urge, before us, there was not a rock band that was doing what we were doing from St. Louis, you know. So, I know how that all played out, and it's fine now because the scene has evolved, and you know, it's not only Story of the Year bands now, so it's really good now. But yeah, we pissed a lot of St. Louis people off for a long time.
Anybody on the GTP Inc. back in the day?
I remember
the
that
old website before we had all the Facebooks and the stuff. Man, there was like a fuck Story of the Year thread like constantly, and it was always refreshed. Back whenever boards, like message boards, were really popular because you didn't have your regular social media, and there's just like fuck Story of the Year. There's just like a thing.
Punk, man, STL Punk. That was what I was on. That's the first time I heard
That's
about
everybody
it was STL Punk. Is that was the shit.
Sophomore, so they say, Story of the Year.
I mean, I kind of do it, but like we were fully touring by then, and I didn't care about anything, you know.
Dude, that exploded. That was like a pre-MySpace everything. That was MySpace before MySpace. It was crazy. But we won't fucking harp on that here. We got plenty of other shit to talk about. I wanted to mention, we did kind of already talk about it, but you fucking you have your spot at Encapsulated. You said you're not doing a ton of work there at the moment, but you have that spot, right?
Yeah. I record things here and there, but I'm kind of picky about what I want to do. Sometimes.
Sure. Which I get.
I record Wiley, so you know.
You do, man.
I'm not that picky.
Everything I've heard though has been good. Like really good.
I'm still learning shit. Like we were saying earlier, Matt Amelung left us a little while ago, and that opened up a spot there. The Fuck Off and Dice had a practice space there for like 10 years now, so you know, I was there from the beginning. I've known all of them forever. And Mike Jones, the dude who runs Encapsulated, he was like, look, we have this opening. I don't really want to get a random guy to come in here. He's like, do you want to record more or not? And I was like, yeah. I was like, maybe. I was like, it's worth it for me to just, you know, pay the amount that we need to pay every month just to have the spot for when I do want to. So, because I was doing it at my house in this basement, which on the other side is kind of like more of a studio spot, but it's harder to have people show up at your house, strangers and stuff, all the time. Wiley's For the City's recorded at my house a few times, but
I'm sorry.
You know, so yeah, I record there sometimes. It's fucking awesome. Encapsulate's a magical spot. Antonio knows. He's been there a lot.
Yeah.
That
I loved recording there. I loved it.
Go ahead, Shane.
I'm gonna say that Ryan Chaney Shelter track turned out really nice.
Yeah, we did that there. Super awesome. He's a fucking amazing talent.
Yeah.
Insane.
He makes me mad because he can sing way better than me.
Well,
all right. Now I'm being drunk and honest, so you can get a good.
No, it's fine. So like, I'm not as big of a fan now, but I used to be a huge wrestling fan. So like, growing up, especially, like, just super into it.
Yep.
Christian's theme song was Story of the Year.
Yep.
How did that happen?
That was very random. We had a friend named Ben something, and he was working for WWE at the time. And the song that was his theme song was already his theme song, but it was sang by a woman-fronted band. I can't remember the fucking name, but it was like the similar version, but it was already a song. Because they all the WWE guys have this one guy who writes every theme song. So it's like this dude already had written the song and it was not going to change the song. So they offered us like a small amount of money. You know, it was like whatever. It was like $5,000 or something. Like, hey, if you guys record your own version of this, we'll pay you $5,000, but we need it by like 3 days from now. And we were like, okay. So we were all sitting at home, and we booked with Jason McIntyre at what is that, Sawhorse? Is that his?
Yeah, Sawhorse. Yeah.
This is like 2006 or 5 or 6 or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, we went in, like, learned the song in like 24 hours, went in the studio, recorded it, and then sent it off to him. And it was just random. We weren't wrestling fans necessarily. Just kind of random, got an offer and did it.
So on stuff like that, I've
so
always
then we
wondered.
Don't make any more money off it because we didn't. Yeah.
Because
it was a one-time payment. Like, here you go, record it real quick, and then that was it.
I'm like, holy shit! If they get paid every fucking time this song plays, like, Jesus.
That's why this guy who runs the music department there, he writes everything because he knows he's going to get money off of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool.
I can't remember his name, but he's been doing that for WWE and F for like 30 years.
I think they got another
Mike
guy now.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
I used to know the name because all of the publishing shit said his name on it. Yeah. He hasn't monopolized over there. He's doing good, or he was. I don't know.
Cool. And
Yeah,
Dan,
we got a lot of weird shit like that. You know, it's just like, you want to do this real quick? Sure.
dude, the first time that, so I've obviously known who you were for years. I never actually got a chance to meet you or talk to you or anything. And the first time that I actually got a chance to say anything to you, like, and it's not like, I'm not from, like, Dan Marsala is the fucking, oh my God. I'm just saying, like, I just always was like, hey, Dan, what's up, man? Like, nice to meet you.
I'm pretty fucking cool.
I was like, I walked up to you and it was like a moment where Ryan was standing there. I think Wiley was there and ATG was all there. And I had like my phone. I'm like, hey, Dan, can you take a picture? I'm like, and then later I'm like, that's the fucking first thing you say. Like, you fucking dumbass. So, like,
was that Blueberry Hill?
yeah, because he goes,
Oh, goodness.
Dan goes, no, he goes, yeah, dude, but first I wanted to say, like, good show. And I'm like, dude, you were a fucking like,
Yeah, but hey, good set. Good set.
but no. So it's
Well,
actually,
that makes me feel good. At least I was nice about it.
yeah, of course. No, because I, like I said, just one of those moments where you, like, play it over and you're like, that was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So it's actually nice to meet you for once and talk to you.
Of course.
Now, I know that we're actually having this conversation partly because fucking Corona started, right? And like I started doing a lot of different things because my job at the time was just gone and it's still not back, right? Which was like live events. So we talked about how that's like affected music in general and how it's affected you and your life in particular. What's been your plan and what is the plan going forward for like your camp?
Well, suicide is an option. Just kidding.
Suicide is paper.
It's
Not really. You're not alone.
It's a. I know. I mean, it's like, you know, obviously I'm kidding, but
Was that a discrepancies like throwback just then?
Yeah, you're not alone.
the plan. I don't know. Like I said, we've had to cancel a lot of things that we had in the works, but it's been kind of good to just focus on writing music, and we're kind of fortunate enough to be in, like, we make a little money even if we're not touring, you know, because we've had, we've put out some records and we get a little bit of money from that shit still. So
Old records.
Old records, yes.
Back when you made money
17-year-old
from it.
records.
Yeah.
So touring is not our only way that we will make money or that we do make money, but like I said, we just started doing a podcast. We're going to do a Patreon. We're going to do all this new shit that, you know, we're all evolving in this world and trying to figure out what the fuck do we do. So we're trying to be proactive and figure it out, because luckily we all live in St. Louis together. We were just talking about this. We just signed with a new management company as well, so we got all this stuff working. But they were talking about how a couple of their bands, they all live in like separate cities. Like one person's in Hawaii and one person's in fucking LA and one person's in Florida. And it's like, Story of the Year has this advantage where we are from St. Louis. We all still live in St. Louis, and we can get together and just fucking hang out and get work done. So it's cool. You know, we're going to figure it out. Like I said, there's no reason to ever be jealous about anything that anybody else is doing. Just learn from people's success and try to follow suit.
Well, and also too, I mean, it's a different world now than it was even in fucking. So, I'm glad we got that show in January, ATG, because when the fuck is the next time that we were ever going to get a show to all play together?
It's so ridiculous.
Like, that's.
You love music, you know, like the reason why you listen to a song, you go, fucking, that's the best thing I've ever heard, or you fucking tear up because you're hearing the fucking best lyric you've ever heard in your life. Aspire to do that. Don't aspire to make millions of dollars, because fuck that, doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, man, I agree. I mean, it's part of why in my stuff that I do in my own, like, which I do, write everything, but then I'll have ATG come in. I have a couple times, and I have like Dubflow come in, because growing up, dude, DC Talk was my jam growing up. I don't know if you know who they are. Fucking.
I mean, I know the name.
Yeah.
Two badass singers and a fucking guy that couldn't rap, but he did rap. You know what I mean? So, like,
Wheel around like Marmalade Jelly.
I love that shit, though. And I'm not a rapper, man, but I love, like, I'll write a bridge, and I'm like, this is for a fucking a rapper. I just need a rapper here. You know what I mean? And now, like, I specifically hear, I'm like, this is ATG. This is Dub. This is Gorilla J. And it's just so cool. So I'm to the point to where, like, I'm starting to – dude, I would love to, and I realize nobody has time, okay? But if I could just do whatever the fuck I wanted to do right now, I would just write music and have, like, make a band with a couple rappers and just, like, let them fucking rap over it, and I'll sing every once in a while. But just, like, I don't know, I'm just in that kind of vein at the moment. I don't – but, yeah, I agree. Dude, especially right now, I mean, just do what you feel like doing, because nobody's doing shit at the moment in particular.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. I mean, like we said, that's what the Fuck Off and Dies was let's just make music for fun for ourselves, 100% for ourselves. And it's so dumb, but who gives a fuck? Why don't you do that? I mean, time is an issue always for everybody, right?
Yeah.
You have the time to be creative in the ways you want to be creative, but yeah, you should do that project. Obviously, why not? Fuck it, you know.
Some of us have kids.
I know. I do have. I have multiple children, so it is hard even for me to figure out time for this. But yeah,
Shane's got
no kids.
But okay, last couple questions there for Dan about Story of the Year and Fuck Off and Dies, dude. Give me, and it might be hard for you, it might not, but what's your favorite song to perform live?
When you were talking about that with Antonio a little bit ago about like favorite songs and shit, I don't know, that evolves every fucking week, every month, especially if you're on tour. Like it's like, oh, I love this song today, and then 2 weeks later you're like, fucking whatever, I don't care about that song. Obviously, well, like Until the Day I Die there was years where we hated that song and we didn't want to play it anymore, which is fucking weird to me. Like in 2004 we had played it like 400 days in a row or whatever, you know.
Sure.
So it was like, you know what, I'm fucking over it. And then like 5 years later you're like, wait, this is like a real song that people really connect to, and then you get that energy from the crowd. So that's always going to be the closer of the show, and it's like the biggest, best moment of the show. So, you know, that's fucking special. Now the big songs make me the most happy live, but back in the day it was like, no, you got to listen to my heavy shit. Like, you better fucking like And the Hero Will Drown. We're going to shove it down your fucking throat. And which, you know, works too. But I don't know.
The old MTV Live at Hard Rock or whatever.
Yeah, Hard Rock Live, yeah.
Yeah, that shit, like, you guys started that set, you're like, and it's kind of like, oh,
yeah, we just came
watching.
Yeah, but I remember guitar players from St. Louis were creaming themselves over that set, dude.
Yeah.
Did somebody like do a flip and like so the other person jumped over it? Like I don't remember.
Yeah, that was back when Phil and Ryan were still doing the back rolls. Like they're rolling over to each other's backs and like
we stole all that shit from Poison. No joke, that's in Poison videos. If you go back and watch like Nothing But a Good Time, like their actual video, they do that shit. Like, we stole it and nobody knew that was like where that came from.
Dude, you're fucking totally right. Oh my God, I didn't think about that till just now.
Yeah, that was, like I was saying, that was like half of the inspiration for half of our early shows and stuff. It was like hardcore bands like Snapcase or like a bunch of like weird straight edge hardcore bands and shit that like they were doing like the guitar spins and shit before anybody in our world was. But all those dumb fucking choreographed shitty moves, those were all Poison and shit.
You know how many guitar players of like that played in bands with me got wireless hookups just so they could try to be like you guys?
Yep. There was
Hi.
There was not a lot of bands doing that at that point.
And dude, like I said, like it's not like I love like what you guys do, but it's like I could never be that or do that. So I never tried too hard to do that. I did when I had hair, I did try to make a little mohawk, which was really fucking sad. Or a faux hawk, because you had that going on for a minute or something like that. Yeah.
I went through all the phases of that one. Yeah.
We're all guilty.
Yeah.
No, we're not all guilty. Don't fucking put me in with you assholes.
We don't try to do too many of the weird choreographed dumb moves anymore, but because a lot of that it became a lot super cheesy after a while, you know. But
I mean, it might have been cheesy, but that shit was what inspired dumbasses like me and every other fucking 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kid out there that was like, oh my God, did that guy just flip on stage?
Yeah, right.
Did those two guitar players just do flips? What the fuck, you know? Like,
because that's a thing. We got to jump around a lot, kick ass. But
well, you guys still jump around a fucking lot, and I hate you because you're a little older than me, not a lot, but a little bit, and you still do it like it's fucking easy. And then I go out and I clean off my back porch, which is like 5 by 8, and I'm out of breath and tired and sweating. So,
we haven't played a show in like 8 months, so I don't know. Maybe we can't do it anymore.
That's what you guys bring energy to the show, obviously, like we're talking about, but you know, you also alluded to The Urge, and
oh yeah, hell yeah.
Steve just turned 50 and he still runs around like a madman on stage, and like
he's also built like fucking Terry Crews, so like what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
he's so pumped.
Make his titties bounce.
Let me tell you something. I like those guys, the guys in El Monstero. I've worked for Logic, which is the company that handles all their video stuff, right? So like in all their lighting and all that shit. So like I've gotten to hang out around them, and I wasn't impressed at all at first. And I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, who the fuck? And all their crew would be like, oh, these guys are coming. And like, I don't get the acting like anybody's God, because nobody's God. Like, just fucking listen, like, be a normal person. It's fine. But then, like, I'll work with these guys, and you listen to, like, Pizzoni, and you get to be 5 feet from him playing drums and warming up and playing for fucking goddamn 5 hours. Like, these guys are fucking animals, dude. Those guys are fucking amazing at what they do. It is incredible. So it's like, but at the same time, you know, I'm not saying you guys are going to start the next El Monstero, but, like, not just you guys, but like us, like we're going to do different things. And someday El Monstero won't be around, but we'll have the opportunity to do cool stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because eventually too, I mean, the world's not going to be shit forever unless Shane keeps doing a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely take it down.
So Dan, I know you get,
I still got my podcast coming soon. So
I have 2 requests for you, dude. Dan.
Yes.
First off, please never be on Rock Paper Podcast. Okay. The second one,
just keep saying next week.
The second one, I know that you have a lot of bands asked to open for you guys. Okay. So I hate to be the douchebag, but this is what I want to ask. Don't ever let Wiley's band open for you guys.
He already did.
Hey, it's too late.
He already did.
But never again. Never again, I promise.
I knew you thought I was going somewhere with that, and I just wanted to nail Wiley really good. So thanks for anyway. What I want to do now, if it's okay with you, dude, my favorite song off of Wolves is Miracle.
Mine too, man. Mine too.
Like the video for it, like I am a sucker for that shit. So is it cool with you if we play that video on the break?
I love that. Do it.
All right. And then, so what we're going to do, we're going to play a quick game of Stone Dog Trivia when we come back. Dan, if you can make it, you're welcome. Antonio, if you can make it, you're welcome. If you guys got a jet, I understand too. But sweet, party all fucking night. All right, we're going to be right back.
Let me get a
so
beer.
We're going to let's listen to Miracle by Story of the Year and come on back. We're going to have some Stone Dog Trivia time right after this.
Walks out here with 90 pounds of food, look like a goddamn doomsday prepper, but I'm maxing out because I brought some clean shit from my house.
Gotta get my car. You guys gonna stay here? No, I'm just gonna ride.